Yeah, we are still going to finish the warm-ups today. So just a note. Okay, now I'm going to write something in erasable pen. Please do not write on your paper what I write right now. I'm going to erase it. But so just resist the urge to write. I know, I always tell you, write everything I write, but not this time. Okay, so if I walk up to this problem and I want to use law of sine, which is what I would want to use because it's not a right triangle, I can't do SOHCAHTOA. So I would say, okay, that's cool. 120 is across from the A, and then, well, I don't know what this is. And I don't know what this is. I can't set up a proportion. There's too many variables here. So I could go sine of 120 over A equals sine of X over 7, but that has an A and an X in it, and I can't solve it. Okay, there's two different setups for the way triangles are given to you that law of sine won't work because there's too many variables. And the first one is side angle side. So every time that you have side angle side given to you in the problem, you can't do law of sines. It's not you'll have too many variables in your proportion. Okay, so what we do instead is law of cosines. But I want to pause here. Do you really see the side angle side?
Yeah. 147.
127. Yeah. Okay. I just want to make sure because most of the time it'll be like this. And I really want you to make sure that you see that side angle side. And you say to yourself, oh, Mrs. Talbot said there's two different instances where I can't use law of sines and I need to use law of cosines. Now, law of cosines is going to look complicated, but I promise you it is super easy. But you have to trust me. Okay. So law of cosines goes like this.
Right now.
Yeah. Oh, yes. Sorry. Good. Thank you for asking. A, that's wrong. I already did it wrong. It's supposed to be a little a. Yeah, sorry. A squared equals b squared plus c squared. Looks like Pythagorean theorem, but it's not. Minus 2bc cosine of a degrees. Okay, as I told you, it looks terrible. I promise you it's not terrible. Okay, so this is a side. This is the other side because they're B and C, so they're different letters. Sides, angle between them. It should feel kind of like the side angle side area formula because it's side angle side. Okay, so a squared equals b squared plus c squared. So side squared plus side squared minus 2 times that first side times the second side cosine of the angle between them. And then it just turns into calculator. Okay, so let's do it for this triangle. So a squared equals 6 squared plus 7 squared. Minus 2, 6, 7. Cosine of 120 degrees. Okay, now type in one fell swoop. Make sure that your calculator's in degrees if you're just grabbing it from my tray. Mm-hmm. Okay, and then square root both sides. Three. Okay, and if you just grabbed a calculator, take a second, make yourself do it. Nope. Little a, remember? So it's just a side. So you could put units if you wanted to. Sometimes it'll be like inches or something. You could put that if you wanted to, but the number is fine. Okay, now pause here real quick. On the worksheet, the direction said solve the triangle. So that means you're supposed to find all the angles inside. That's not the case for this problem. I just want to talk it through. So I did log cosine and I found this, right? So I put 11.3 right here. And then, do you guys see that I could use log sine to find one of the other angles? So I would do sine of 120 over 11.3 equals sine of x over 6, or whatever, wherever I put my at. And then I could add the three triangle or angles to 180 to get the last angle. Okay, so let me say that again. If it says solve the triangle, you need to keep going. If it's not, just solve for A, then you go to log sine. So you go sine of 120 over 11.3 equals sine of x over 7, or sine of x over 6, doesn't matter which way you set it up, whichever one. Find that angle from log sine with the inverse. Remember, we did the inverse at the end of yesterday. And then add the three angles to 180 to get the other angle. Okay, so these are just little tools that you have to put them together to get the whole picture of the triangle. Okay, so I'm gonna put this just so that when you look back at your notes, you're like, okay, if I have to keep going, what would I do next? And then the next thing would be log sines. Everybody okay so far? Okay. All right, draw this guy. Okay, now I'm gonna ask you guys something very important. During your team quiz, I know how you guys like to get up and wander around. We're not doing that today. You're gonna do your team quiz in your teams. However, I would like to take a volunteer to sit at the middle table with these guys. Somebody that has 4 people at their table, not you guys, not you guys. Okay, you'll sit with them. Okay, thank you. Just because it's not fair, they have only 2. Okay. And again, this is not supposed to be stressful. This is just practice. It's basically like, what do we remember from before break? No. We're going to do self-grading with a colored pencil. Or a colored pen if you're a colored pen kind of person. Okay. Now, this one, this is the other possibility I want you to kind of think about in your mind how this would be impossible for me to set up a proportion. Why is it impossible for me to do law of sines here? Because I would be like, yeah, sine of x over 7 equals sine of y over 8. Again, would have an x and a y, and it's not possible. Okay, so these are the only two times though when you need to use law of sine, law of cosine. Law of sine every other time. What? There's no law of tangent.
Okay.
Except for like when Mrs. Talbot starts to talk about something other than math. Does anyone get that show? Like going off on a tangent? Ah. Ha. Ha ha. Okay. Okay. Now, I'm gonna write down law of cosines again. I'm gonna write it down here. Okay, and it doesn't really matter which side you pick for A, B, and C, but I don't know, I was taught in, you guys know I have a math degree. I was taught in college always to pick the bigger side for A. So I'm going to call this angle A and this side A. And I know the reason, and you probably won't care. It's because you're gonna have to divide and anyway, I'm just helping you out. Pick the longest one. Okay. So 10 squared equals 7 squared plus 8 squared minus 2 times 7 times 8 cosine of A degrees. Okay, now pause real quick. We're gonna go slow. Does everybody have this picture labeled real quick? So I'm gonna zoom in like the dick. Okay, now the place where children mess this up is order of operations. So I want you to put little brackety guys there and put little brackety guys there. Okay, so this is 100 equals, okay, and then 7 squared plus 8 squared. Two times 7 times 8. You see why this is tempting to screw up the order of operations. Because your brain really wants to go 113 minus 112, that's 1 cosine A. No. No. This is like X. Those are not like terms. So you need to rescue that 113 out of there before we do something silly. Get him out of there. Okay, you with me so far? Okay, now we want to get A by itself. We're going to go step by step. Okay, how do I undo cosine? Cosine inverse. Now, this is where I'm gonna just get lazy. And instead of showing the cosine inverse of both sides, I'm just gonna cosine inverse, and that will cross out with that. Okay. Cosine inverse. Oh no. Cosine inverse. 13 over 112. 83.3 degrees. Okay. Now that you have two across from each other, then you could do law of sines. and then add the angles together to 180 to finish solving the triangle. Okay.
You can be on like, you can go.
Yep. Oh, actually, side isn't, I don't think. Just side angle side. But you do have to do that, then law of sines, then add to 180. But you'll have your, I'm just gonna let you use your notebook. So. So you can just have this right next to you. Okay. Anybody still writing this guy before I get too excited with myself? Okay. Last problem. Okay, everybody. So this is kind of a mixed thing. Our goal here is we do not need to solve the triangle in these, which is good news. We just need to solve for x. But the first thing I want to do is figure out the methods to use. So they're all different. For A, I want you to take a look at that and ask yourself, can I set up a proportion? So take a look at A.
Yeah.
Can you set up a proportion? Yes.
You don't have to do cosine?
No. So we're doing law of sines. So you ask yourself, can I set up a proportion? Yes. 35 goes with 8.3. 20 goes with x. Okay. So sine of 35 over the side across equals sine of 20 over x. Yeah, are you guys okay with my setup? Okay, so x times sine 35 equals 8.3 times sine 20. Yes, but why did I put the degrees outside the parentheses? Because you're special lady, Mrs. Talbot. Yeah, I'm gonna go 4.9. You can, but we only need to solve for X in this problem. So these are just like parts, just to build your toolkit. Okay, now B, tangent. You're supposed to use tangent. So the whole point of me putting B up there is just to remind you that SOHCAHTOA still exists. And when you have a right triangle, you should use it. So don't forget all of your math too. This is opposite and adjacent. Tan of X degrees equals opposite over adjacent. And then tan inverse.
Mm.
29.1. On this guy, if we had to keep going, just to remind you, you could add the three angles to get to 180 and do Pythagorean theorem to get the hypotenuse.
Yeah, probably.
I just really wanted to say hypotenuse today. It's Mr. Talbot's favorite math word. Just throwing that up. Hypotenuse. Okay, last one. Okay, so think to yourself, can I set up a proportion for this? No, this is side angle side. Okay, do you see it? Side angle side. Okay, and when it's side angle side, I cannot set up a proportion. I have to do law of cosines. Okay, so the 16 is across from the X. So that's the side that goes with the angle between. So what I mean is you go X squared, you start with the angle, you start with the side across, equals 8 squared plus 11 squared minus 2 times 8 times 11 cosine 16. One fell swoop. Okay, now let's talk. We need to talk about something. I don't want you to square root 15.82. I want you to square root this. We have to be as accurate as possible. I like to round on my paper because I'm lazy, but in the calculator, I do not round. Okay, so what I mean by that is go square root, and then you can either do second negative to plug that in, or you can do the Mrs. Talbot's lazy special where you scroll up and highlight it and hit enter and copy and paste it. So we're going to go 4. That's it. Okay. I'm going to bring you a slightly coiled team quiz. Ankita, if you'll bring your stuff with you, I'm going to come stamp while you guys are working on this. I need yesterday's notes, today's notes, and the mid-chapter worksheet. If you did not finish the mid-chapter worksheet, please do not tell me a story. Just tell me to keep going on and say that you're going to finish it. You promise it sometime. You promise. And you're gonna pinky promise no. But you don't have to pinky no. I wouldn't wanna hold you to though. Pinky promises are serious business.
There, very serious. Never break a big promise.
Okay, now, this is what's gonna happen. You guys are gonna work on the team quiz.
Yep.
You're gonna do your best. What is the homework? I don't know. Okay, CPM problems. Okay, when you're done with your team quiz, and that means everybody in your team is done, you're going to turn them in. But do not get freaked out. It's not like we're turning them in and Mrs. Talbot's gonna grade them. We're just turning them in so that you focus on your homework and I get them all collected. I'm gonna give it right back to you. I'm not gonna, it's not trading them. I don't want anyone else to see, just in case you like completely blanked or something, it's nobody's business. I'm just gonna give it right back to you, don't freak out. And then we're gonna grade them together with colored pencil, either today or Friday, depending on, I wanna make sure you guys have plenty of time. There's no stress here, other than the fact that these are coin. Yeah. Right, real confident. Okay. I printed them like a month ago, I shouldn't have stuck them in that thing. Come back and start with you. Then. Although he's all loves Jacoby, I'm not sure what he would have offered me. There is.
We'll use a calculator or?
Yes, you can use a calculator, your notebook. Just not the internet, not the chat GPTs. I say that in plurals.